This drama series, Mouse, opens at an elementary school, where children on a field trip to the zoo watch as their teacher explains that snakes feed on rats. Among the students, one child, consumed by morbid fascination, pushes a live rat into a snake's enclosure. As the terrified children scatter, only the perpetrator remains, staring with unsettling calm as the rat struggles desperately against its fate. This disturbing image sets the tone for a narrative shaped by cruelty, trauma, and the blurred boundaries of nurture and nature. The film then moves 5 years earlier, to a bleak snowstorm. A woman steps out of a taxi, wrapped in her coat against the cold. She notices a young girl by the roadside, who calls to her in distress, explaining that their car has skidded on the ice and her father is injured inside. Sympathetic and unsuspecting, the woman hands over her bag to the child and leans into the vehicle to help. In an instant, the supposed father lunges forward, seizing her and killing her brutally. Her headless corpse is discovered floating in the sea the next day. She is the 18th victim of a serial killer the media have named the Headhunter. The police, overwhelmed and unable to track the elusive murderer, seek assistance from Professor Daniel Lee, a geneticist. Daniel presents his controversial theory. Killers like the Headhunter lack the MAOA gene, sometimes labeled the warrior gene, which regulates emotions. Without it, he argues, individuals are predisposed to psychopathy. He proposes prenatal genetic testing to identify such individuals before birth. The proposal ignites debate, and ultimately lawmakers reject it, citing human rights and the ethical dangers of judging lives before they begin. Elsewhere, a family of 4, a husband, a wife, and their sons, Muin and Mukai, travel through the snow in a camper van, lost and uncertain of their path. They stop to ask a man in a parked car for directions. He points them toward a deserted campground, and later that night, the hooded figure of the Headhunter arrives. He murders the father violently. The mother, terrified, hides her boys in the van before fleeing into the snow to distract the killer. She is hunted down and killed. Left alone, Muin hides his younger brother Mukai inside a suitcase, concealing himself as best as he can. When he tries to escape, the killer captures him and strikes him repeatedly with a hammer, but police arrive just in time to save him. The surviving Mukai, traumatized and mute with shock, is taken into custody. Detective Duck, who lost his own daughter to the Headhunter, desperately questions him. When Mukai sees a poster of a man on the wall, he screams and identifies him as the killer. The police storm the home of the man, Koo Jun, and arrest him despite his confusion. Mukai, who has snuck into the detective's car, is present. The police search the house but find no incriminating evidence. Outside, Mukai attacks Koo Jun with a blade, cutting his face before stumbling into a snowman. Its head falls off, revealing the frozen, severed heads of his parents. Koo Jun is arrested, though he insists he never built the snowman. Daniel Lee escorts Koo Jun's wife, Jae-yun, to the police station. She asks whether psychopaths are capable of love. Daniel replies that they can only love themselves. When Koo Jun is released temporarily through his lawyer's intervention, Jae-yun confronts him with a photograph showing him constructing the snowman. Koo Jun admits his crimes, confessing that he married her only to have a child. He is taken back into custody, but Daniel confronts him privately. During their exchange, Koo Jun reveals he killed Daniel's sister, Jennifer, after she aborted their child. He recalls that she only emerged from hiding when he threatened Daniel and their mother, and that her final words were a plea for him to spare them. Smiling coldly, he tells Daniel that he always keeps his promises. Shaken, Jae-yun is hospitalized. She consents to genetic testing for her unborn child, and the results confirm the presence of the MAOA deficiency. Distraught, she requests an abortion. Meanwhile, Daniel hands an envelope containing similar results to another pregnant woman. Unlike Jae-yun, this woman, who has lost her husband to gambling debts, vows to keep her child, determined to prove Daniel wrong and claiming the child is all she is left. Years pass. Jae-yun's son, Yi-hoon, grows into a feared child. Teachers and classmates recoil from him. He exhibits early cruelty, killing a rabbit under the guise of curiosity, explaining he wanted to check if it had gained weight or pregnancy. His stepfather, humiliated, slaps him. At home, Yi-hoon retaliates against animals, pouring ammonia into the fish tank and threatening his younger brother into silence. When his sister exposes him, he is beaten, but his resentment only festers. One day, Yi-hoon lures his younger brother to the grave of their dog and begins to bury him alive as punishment for betrayal. Jae-yoon intervenes in time, saving her younger son and choking Yi-hoon in despair, calling him a monster. Shaken, Yi-hoon later kneels in a church, praying to God and asking whether he truly is what his mother claims. Soon after, his entire family is murdered. Though suspicion falls on him, no evidence is found, and at age 11, he is free to begin his own path as a killer, his first victim being tied to his stepfather's past. The story then shifts years ahead. Mukai, now an adult and a police detective, chases down a criminal, still carrying the scars of his childhood trauma. The fugitive leaps to his death, but Mukai remains restless, driven by vengeance. At a new crime scene, Mukai is ejected for being drunk and uninvited. Still, he tells the press the killer matches the same pattern as a past case involving a victim named Susu. Consumed by anger, he visits Koo-jun in prison and promises to kill him just as his family had been killed. Koo-jun, however, reacts with satisfaction, realizing his son Yi-hoon survived, contradicting what Jae-yoon had once claimed. Inside prison, Koo-jun encounters a guard named Kai-suk and a fellow officer, Baram. During a tense confrontation, Baram notes that Koo-jun does not seem like a monster. Meanwhile, Mukai investigates a footprint found at a crime scene, dismissed by colleagues due to its small size. A journalist named Hongju pressures him for information, and he reluctantly brings her to the sites. Elsewhere, a doctor named Johan emerges. Cold and precise, he instructs a suicidal woman on how to cut her wrists correctly. Later, he performs surgery with unnerving skill. His chilling detachment unsettles those around him. In time, it is revealed that Johan is in fact Baram, the other child born with the psychopathic gene years earlier. As the investigation unfolds, Mukai uncovers clues linking Johan to the killings. Bong Yi, a young woman connected to the victims, unwittingly becomes entangled when she discovers Johan's hidden room filled with photographs of his targets. Her discovery seals her fate, as Johan eliminates her family to silence her. The climax builds toward a live broadcast in which Mukai is forced to solve the killer's pattern to save a kidnapped boy named Han-guk. On air, he claims to have cracked the case but demands proof the child is alive. Johan, watching, approaches the room where Han-guk is held. As the door creaks open, the story delivers its final twist. The person entering is not Johan, leaving the truth unresolved and the cycle of deception unbroken. And series concludes.